Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm here with this week's video, and this week's video is about my journey to self-improvement. So I wanted to share a little bit about, my journey and how I've gotten to where I am right now, okay? So I'm not gonna give you some long childhood story all dating back to when I was a young little tyke. Sorry if you were looking for that, that's not gonna happen. Maybe some other time, okay? But I'm gonna fast forward from there to a few years ago, maybe several years ago, okay? My eyes really got opened up to the fact that there's more to life than what I was experiencing at the time. I'm not saying my life was bad. Honestly, life was pretty good. Things were going pretty well. But I really realized that there was just more to life than what I was experiencing. So I started making some small changes. And most of those changes I feel like we're in the right direction. Obviously, we're not always going to make good decisions every single day, every single moment, wherever we go, but for the most part, I've been moving forward in the right direction, okay? Just like coincidentally, like the Atomic Habits book that I'm just kind of really excited about recently, looking back, I was making some small changes, but it's nice to read something several years later that's reinforcing what you've been doing, so some of those things were I started eating better. Many of you already know that. Focusing more on sleep, having a healthier lifestyle, and being more open-minded to lots of things. I got introduced to a whole new lifestyle with my wife's business, and kind of adopted a lot of cool things that I learned there to my own life, and really enjoyed that. So let's fast forward a little bit more to, maybe in the past couple of years. A couple of years ago, my personal growth has really gained a lot more steam, okay? All the small changes led to me being open-minded enough to start doing even more things. And one of those big things, what everybody knows, I'm pretty sure, is I really started reading a lot. I started reading, listening to podcasts, which has led to some deeper thinking, which is, through some of my reading has really pushed my personal accountability. I'm much more organized. My whole life is more organized. My house, my business, the things I get done, my to-do lists. And I've had a lot of positive changes on purpose now, rather than just, hoping things are going to go well by chance. I don't leave, obviously things happen by chance, but I don't leave everything to chance. I focus on making things happen on purpose. So in my reading, it all started, the very first book that I read a couple of years ago when I got started into audiobooks was a book on Stoicism. And I'm not sure if you guys all know what that means, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a definition. Stoicism is the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. Okay, so that's a lot of words there, right? It means, to me, it means, I'm going to endure going through whatever it is, the tough change without complaining about it. I know that, I needed to change. I want to continue to improve. It's not always going to be easy, right? Because looking back now, I can't really think of a better book to start with, because that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to change. It was a big change for me to go from a non-reader my whole life to somebody who reads. And I guess I got through that first hurdle of that first long book by doing it. And I didn't read it once. I read it two and started on a third time. To just kind of like, I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna get through this, I'm gonna make this happen, I'm gonna make things register. So because change isn't easy or fun, at least in the beginning. Okay, so from there, as far as the books are concerned, I went into kind of sales methods. We're in a sales business, so I thought that's a great next place to go. Read a great book about negotiating that I was super excited about. Same thing, read it 2 times, got on my 3rd time, didn't quite get through it the 3rd time. Read a book by a really motivating author about peak performance, and he wrote another book that I read as well called High Performance Habits. And what I really figured out is that learning is definitely exciting. It really is, but at some point you kind of have to take a break from it at times, because you get too many different things, and they all kind of interrelate in their own ways, but it just gets to be too much, and you sometimes you need to kind of stop on the one thing that you've learned how to do and just take a break. And so I definitely didn't want to stop reading because I was getting really excited about it, and so I started reading fiction. I switched things up, not gonna, you're definitely learning things when you read a fiction book, but you're not learning, how to improve yourself necessarily. What you're learning is about, different ideas and thoughts and the world and different places and time periods and whatnot. And that's what I thought is what I still think is very fascinating about reading fiction. So because my fiction choices are going to be sci-fi, mystery, FBI type thriller, and definitely I really love a good book about a modest dude who is a total badass, and kind of, try to, my inner, personal, thing that I like to think of myself, I want that I aspire to be. So if you haven't read David Baldacci, give him a look, because that definitely fits that genre. And recently, in the past couple of months, I after getting a break, from doing the self-help stuff, in the beginning, and I popped a couple in here and there along the way, I got re-energized into self-improvement. I started reading a book, I don't even remember which one now at this point, but I started reading self-help books again, and I got re-energized, and I've read several of them in a row now. Books about leadership, obviously the Habit book by James Clear that I've read, and even some books about philosophy. Obviously I started with Stoicism. More recently I've read a book about philosophy because, if you really break it down, what is life all about anyway, right? So never mind, I'm not going to really go into that one. Maybe some other time, give me a holler and I'll chat philosophy with you, but not going to keep go down that path in this video. But through all my self-improvement, that I've been working on, I've come to, not an end game conclusion, but more of a conclusion for now. And my conclusion for now is that, not everyone is going to be ready for change, okay? And we all change and we grow at our own pace. And so, when I'm doing these videos every week, or presenting ideas, I want you to remember, definitely don't feel bad if you're not into it, or, you're not quite ready for the new topic, you're still thinking about last week's topic or last month's topic, or none of the topics, because, we all have different passions. I know that, and we have different interests, and we all have different responsibilities for sure. I have a different home life than, a lot of people do, and they have different home lives than the other person does. We all have different responsibilities of what we have to do, in our real life, and so all I really want from any of you and all of you is for you to find out what ignites you, so that you can figure out how to grow as a person, and not just, stay where you're at. We don't want to be stagnant, right? So in the meantime, I'm going to continue doing what ignites me, and I'm going to continue to share the things with you until maybe something resonates with you, okay? So really my only challenge for you this week, and this is moving forward, not just this week, is I want you to, look in the mirror, do some self-reflecting, and really think about, what else is there for you, okay? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out what ignites you. I had a guy that I talked to last week, and we were talking about the goal to habit worksheet that I've been working on recently with some guys to figure out, how to make things simpler in the job. And he was telling me that he had read 3 different books about different things, and they were about listening and being a better listener. And I told him, I said, you know what, if we can work on this goal to habit thing, if you want to, but honestly, that's exactly what I want. I want you to figure out what you're excited about, what you're passionate about, and what you want to do. And, you go do you, man. Share with me what you're learning. I'm interested to hear, and if you have time to, jump on board with what I have to offer and you want to grow here, then let's do that too. But, main thing is I was super excited for that person, and that's all I want from the rest of you as well. So anyway, thank you for listening to the video. keep trying to figure out what's going to motivate you and what you want to do with your life and grow how you want to grow. So anyway, thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.